So how do you set the boundaries on delegation? When is it safe to delegate? When is it risky to delegate?
Mr. Kumar, you use the word luck. We don't know. Only after delegation we will know. I am always comfortable being uncomfortable. For me, nothing too big, too worry. No, I don't.
So if you want to grow and be wealthy, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Always keeps one secret with himself. So he never thought anything about marketing till now.
No. There is nothing to talk about marketing because anyone can make your product. What differentiates you is marketing.
What is one topmost regret you have in your business career?
Just one regret, I told you, not learning Hindi. Another regret is not shifting my house to there. The third regret is, so what do you understand from Bhagavad Gita? I follow the Bhagavad Gita principle. Whichever party wins, I join in that party after confirming that they have won.
அனைவருக்கும் இனிய மாலை வணக்கம். To start with, I must thank Mr. Sivasankaran, for inviting me to speak in the Health and Wealth Summit. So when he told me about the summit, he was talking about AI and how AI can help create wealth and things like that. So I consented to speak about it. But later when I saw the, this title of the session, I really became a little nervous, because I don't think, even though I became wealthy, over the last 35 years, and I keep getting wealthier, by no stretch of imagination, I think I am eligible to talk about how to create wealth, because I honestly believe, probably luck played a huge part in me becoming wealthier. So I was, thinking about why, what should I talk about wealth? So that's when I must again thank him because, this is one talk for which I thought about what to speak for longer than I have ever done, right? So I realized that, there is only one book I have read repeatedly, because I don't have patience to read any printed book or something like that. And so the only book I read repeatedly is my own life experiences and think about what happened in the past, what by luck or coincidence or gut feel or whatever I happened to do right, and where I used my intelligence and thought that I made a very smart decision, but ended up making a very stupid decision, right? So I keep thinking about that because sometimes, in fact, it helped me develop gratitude as a habit. So what I am going to talk about is my journey with wealth, meaning how I started and how I ended up where I am, and what are the valuable lessons I actually learned from my experience and how it helped. And hopefully in my story, you all see something that is valuable to you, hopefully. When I say my journey with wealth, it's about, I come from a middle-class family. My father was working in the High Court of Madras as a government servant. And, we were four brothers and a sister. I studied in a government engineering college where the per semester fees was 180 rupees. That's why we could afford education at that time. So why I am saying this is, a lot of times what you think about wealth is based on what you are exposed to and what you are conditioned to believe. So when I was going to school, I was really blissful, much more blissful than I am today. And my concept of wealth is only 3 meals, in the plate at the right time. And I have always been the first one to eat in my family. So I have maintained that record till now, and I have always been the first one to eat in the mess also, wherever I have stayed in the hostel. So to me, being wealthy means I can get, sumptuous meal 3 times a day. That's how I was during my school days and most of my college days. Then in my third year of engineering, I got selected as a pilot officer in the Indian Air Force. So I was very happy because the salary that they mentioned at that time, if I joined as a pilot officer, will not only make sure I get to eat a good meal, but also can live in comfort. So when I graduated, to me, being wealthy means I can be comfortable and eat well, right? But unfortunately, when I finished my engineering and went for the medical test of Indian Air Force, I didn't clear the medical test. So my dream of joining as a pilot officer in IAF crash landed, right, literally. Then I spent the next 6 months, looking for a job. Whenever I think about this, because later, 34 years later, I was diagnosed with a heart condition that required a surgery. And I've always wondered, in 1990, how an Air Force doctor was able to detect something abnormal in the heart with which he could, not pass me in the medical test, which happened to be a condition that required a surgery 34 years later. Civilian hospital, it took 18 years to detect that condition. But he was able to detect that with a stethoscope. So that taught me a very important lesson. It is that, a tool is as good as the person who uses it. So that means every single tool I came across in my life, after that, if it is useful to me, I try to master that tool. So if the tool is not relevant to me, I try not to waste my time on it. So then I took up a job in the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, with Professor Ashok Junjunwala, building products, software and technology products for the Indian market. So the primary goal is to do import substitution so that India becomes technologically self-reliant. But I have that clarity now, but when I was working with him, I didn't have as much clarity I do today. So that time, to me, the concept of wealth, again, the moment I started working and I started earning some money from food and comfort, because I was, working with people who are more experienced than me, people from whom I have to take permission or I have to take approval to do something, I wanted some authority. So to me, wealth became having authority also. So then I actually, from the time I realized it, I put myself in a rat race so that I can get that authority faster. So I basically, very soon, maybe within a year, I was given some responsibility and some authority, and I felt very happy. But within the next 7-8 months, I felt there were a lot of limits to my authority. So I wanted even more authority, because I thought having more authority is more freedom. So then I quit that and I actually joined another job, where again it was not comforting to me. So that time, I decided, that I'm not going to get the authority I want very fast. So I decided to actually get into full-time farming. This is in 1994. So my brother Sridhar Vembu's very close friend Krishnan Ramabhadran had a land, good amount of land in Tanjore district. So I tried repeatedly. He was looking for somebody to look after the land. So I repeatedly tried to persuade him to give me the land so that I can go and do full-time farming. So after 3-4 times of gently telling me he will never do that, asking me to focus on technology career, he flatly refused and told me, never talk to me about, you are going into farming, and I'm not going to let it happen. So he made the decision for me, right? He stopped me from becoming a full-time farmer in 1994. Then I looked at the next option in front of me. The next option is, I thought if I go to the US, I'll have more freedom. So I went to the US and I worked in Intel and Qualcomm for about a year. But I felt I was underutilized and undervalued. And I felt the environment was even more, not only in the professional work, but also personally it had a lot of constraints. I actually felt like a modern slave in the US with their H-1B visa and the system like that. So I felt, I was seeking freedom, and I thought I went to the most free country in the world. But the reality is that I was a caged parrot. So within a year, I left that. By the time in 4.5 years, I had left 4 jobs, looking for this or that, right? So I thought I am not fit to be employed by anyone because I am causing too much inconvenience to others by being an employee, and I am also, not enjoying that. So I came back to India and I wanted to start a company so that I am my own boss. So in 1995, that's how I, came back, and that is when I really understood Dr. Junjunwala's message about, having this technology self-reliance and the need for making products in India and things like that. So in 1995, we founded a software product company in India. So those days it is, I still believe, even today in technology business, it's a lot easier to make a dollar than making a rupee, right? So, but we took the hard path of doing products which require a very long-term, basically delayed gratification. Mr. Shiva keeps talking about delayed gratification, because in service business, you work for a month, you send a bill to the client, they pay the bill, every month you have a good profit, you can have a good life. In product business, you invest for 18 months, 24 months, 36 months, and launch the product, market the product, and hope that the product will sell. But we chose the difficult path of making products and releasing them and marketing them and selling them. So fortunately for us, some of the products we did clicked in the market, and we started growing. But this freedom comes with a lot of responsibility. So that responsibility means I was spending more and more time at work. I was basically less family time, less sleep, and everything, right? So then, but after some time, we are always looking for what is next, right? So after some time, when things are going well and you are getting money and all, to me, the definition of wealth changed. So now I am looking for, how can we have more influence? So then you start going out, meeting people, talking events, trying to give gyan to everybody, right? And do a lot of things thinking that, you are born to change the world. So that becomes additional work, and you wanted more influence. Then you are not happy with more influence, you want to be more famous. So you get yourself onto the next treadmill. And in all this, what happened is very interesting. I became more impatient. So I was naturally a patient person. So I became more impatient, and I became more anxious. So because of impatience, I was always thinking about what is coming next, or what happened in what I didn't do right, or what I did wrong in the work I just completed, and things like that. So I was never really in the present. Always when you are not impatient, you are not listening properly, you start screwing up relationships, right? You start making upsetting people, and things start going downhill, right? So my definition of wealth, that wealth means eating good food, having a comfortable life, having power, having influence, having fame, right? Having so many other things. I know there is something wrong with it, right? So I wasn't comfortable with the way things were going. That's when accidentally, someday, one day, I didn't know what to do, because I felt I was not even able to focus on doing something for 5 minutes, right? I had so much anxiety and impatience, right? Because I wanted to do things, something that will take a month, which I was earlier willing to wait for a year for making it happen. Now I want to have it in 1 hour, right? Because many times we all put ourselves in the treadmill, and become impatient because we think, things have to be done faster and faster and faster, right? Because we have got the experience, we can throw money around, and things like that, right? But things didn't work that way. So that is when, accidentally I learned, somebody was talking to me about yoga, then I wanted to try it. So I went to Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram, and I started learning, yoga. The moment I started doing that, I found it more, it was controlling my anxiety. I was becoming more patient. So I would say, whatever damage I did to myself over maybe 5-6 years of chasing productivity, chasing, all the things that I thought wealth was, it took maybe a few years to undo all of them. And once I undid all of them, I was sort of becoming a better version of myself. And then I felt a lot of magic started happening, right? A lot of magic in the sense, for example, I want to just quote 2 incidents, right? So one of them is one guy, he's in the audience. I invited him to hear Krishna Prasad, who works with me on my startup investments, right? He was coming and, he was coming to our office. He wanted to meet me. So about first time he came, I met for courtesy's sake. Then he came to my office probably about 20 times. But most of the time I was busy in meetings. I didn't meet him. And I also didn't know why he kept coming to meet me. Then the second time he met me, he said he wanted a job. He's a chartered accountant, but he didn't want to be in the operational side of finance. Then I wasn't sure what job to give him. Again, I didn't meet him for a few times. He showed up. Then he came and he told me, you don't give me any title. You give me this much salary. I will work with you. I'll add value to your work. And then he started bringing startup investments to me. Then because he was bringing some people, I was meeting them. Then I found this meeting startups and finding out what they do very interesting. Then we made our first investment in startup. I started liking it so much that we started spending more and more time with startup. So I would say one Krishnan Ramabhadran saved me from or prevented me from going into farming, full-time farming in 1994. Another Krishna Prasad actually showed up and he volunteered and he took me into startup investment. That became my full-time profession now. Actually, I would say I'm probably very lucky because most of the startup investments we have done are doing very well. So we have become wealthier, I would say. So, I was really enjoying work. Then the second magic that happened is probably around 2018 end or 2019 beginning. From aiwo, we got a registration for a restaurant software. And the inquiry was for some 300 quick service restaurant or something like that. So I said, I will go and meet. And I also have heard a lot about him, so I wanted to meet him in person. So I took the opportunity to come and meet him. Then we spoke for some time. And I would say Mr. Sivasankaran volunteered and compelled me to do the aiwo 181 test. And a lot of, in the first year or so, I was very, I would say, suspicious because I wasn't sure what this is all about. And as I said, I'm not a big reader of, books or literature, even though he was willing to share with me the research report and things like that. And many times I wondered, the many things he says he has done, how can somebody do all of them in one lifetime, right? So the more time I spent with him in the initial time, how can he do this, a coffee business, a telecom business, a PC business, an olive oil business, an emerald business, a ride-hailing business, and a health business. And how can one man be expert in so many things? I couldn't actually believe that. But the more time I spent with him, I developed trust. And he helped me detect health conditions I had and helped me fix them by introducing me to the doctors and things like that. So what I realized in this experience is true wealth is not money. Even though the title of this session is about becoming billionaire or millionaire or whatever, what I realized, because Mr. Sivasankaran asked me to talk about wealth, because probably till yesterday evening I didn't have this realization because I have never thought about it. I am a very lazy person by nature. Unless somebody pushes me to think, I don't think. Right? So what I realized in preparing for this talk is true wealth is very holistic. It is not just physical, it is not just mental, it is not just social, it is occupational. There are so many facets of wealth. So, we have to understand that. And in my experience, what I have found is we have to be wealthy in a very balanced manner. Right? That means how do we manage our relationships in the family? How do we manage relationships with friends, socially, and how do we grow in our career or in our profession? How do we build a reputation? How do we build some influence? How do we exercise our authority? Right? How happy people around us are, how happy we are. All of them are critical part of being wealthy. In fact, when I meet Mr. Sivasankaran, one thing he tells me very often is he is among the poorest people in Tamil Nadu, right, in monetary terms. But most of the time I always wonder, it doesn't matter what your bank balance is or what your net worth is, right? I know he lives like a king, right? So that is what matters. So, the way he gives, right, shows that he is a very wealthy man. So my realization is that wealth is really holistic. So that's when I thought, when people say health is wealth, initially when I was very young, when people say health is wealth, I used to think that's a cruel joke, right? But only while preparing for this talk, I realized that health is wealth is actually a very profound statement when we understand that wealth is not just money, wealth is probably 10, 15 different things rolled into one. I wish to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Sivasankaran and aiwo team once again for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much. I was always curious, the number of businesses Sivasankaran has done and the speed at which he enters and exits and things like that. And he spoke a lot about delegation. So I wanted to ask him, delegation is like a double-edged sword. It can help you win and it can also help you go down. So how do you set the boundaries on delegation? When is it safe to delegate? When is it risky to delegate?
Mr. Kumar, you use the word luck. We don't know. Only after delegation we will know.
Risk aversion is the enemy of growth which stops people from becoming rich or realizing their dream or whatever, right? Creating wealth, all of that. Since you are a man who have taken always outsized bets or sometimes I feel reckless risks, how do you say when it is
I'll give you a
calculated risk?
I'll give you an explanation. When you are successful and you have made some money, you are always interested in protecting that money. That is why your risk awareness comes down. But in business, you need to trust but verify. You can trust anybody. In fact, I trusted people and nobody has let me down. Actually, people who let me down are the people whom I have not trusted from the beginning. So you trust and verify. And then don't worry about competition, because when I have no problem on competition, because I can stop one of my friend to compete me. Tomorrow, Gurumurthy Secretary Venkat starts aiwo. I will not be unhappy, because it is left to anyone to start aiwo. I have a clear plan to compete. When I am willing to compete with 23 lakh doctors and 385,000 hospitals, why I should worry about Venkat starting aiwo? My policy is same. I learned this principle in Bhagavad Gita. When Arjuna asked Krishna, you are asking me to kill my mother, brother, everybody. Actually, with this Rajyam, when I win, I have to only enjoy with them. Krishna says, they are all your competition, kill them. Don't talk. After killing, we will discuss. And the saints who were present there, they were talking, let it be a victory. I keep on reading few pages. For whose victory? The saints. They said, let the victory be there. The saints are so careful. They never said, who has to win? Okay? So what do you understand from Bhagavad Gita? I follow the Bhagavad Gita principle. Whichever party wins, I join in that party after confirming that they have won. Philosophy 1. Second, okay, whoever it is, they compete, they are your enemy. And I have a strategy. I used to go to Seychelles. One day I went for diving class. A young French girl trying to help me to dive. And she told me there are a lot of sharks. I said, you don't worry, I am well protected. She asked, I am in this business for 5 years. I don't know how to protect from sharks. Please tell me. I showed her a small knife. She said, how will you protect? When the shark comes, I just hit it with the shark, I'll take care. She said, shark doesn't have blood. Why you are... I said, who told you shark I will hit? Only I am going to hit you. Your blood will flow, the shark will, after you, I come out. Then she said, I don't want to teach you. Don't even come near the sea. Okay. So, I am always comfortable being uncomfortable. For me, nothing too big, too worry. No, I don't.
So if you want to grow and be wealthy, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Being comfortable, uncomfortable. And you should be ready to kill your own brothers and sisters and relatives and loyal employees when they start wearing a coat which says I am your enemy. Shoot him. Don't ask him. Yeah.
So second thing I was curious to know,
Yeah.
see, in all your business, you have always been very heavy on marketing.
Yeah.
But when you are advising everyone on creating wealth,
Yeah.
you are talking about a lot of other things, but didn't touch upon marketing. And I think a lot of Tamil Nadu businessmen didn't create wealth because we are very good in producing product, but not as good in marketing.
Yeah.
So
See,
I think that was one of your key differentiation because you invested very heavily in marketing in all your business. So what is
Let me tell you honest opinion. Other than marketing, everything in business is waste. In any business, you can
See,
produce...
he always keeps one secret with himself.
Yeah.
So he never thought anything about marketing till now.
No. There is nothing to talk about marketing because anyone can make your product. What differentiates you is marketing. So you are heavily dependent on marketing. But why should I teach? Why should I tell the truth? Suppose in your house there is a girl, you want to get her married. Are you going to tell the boy that you are going to suffer the rest of your life by marrying my daughter? No. Are you going to tell our own daughter that once you marry, get a child, 25-year project, your life gone? Are you going to teach them? Our parents suffered, we have seen. So what the woman thinks, I suffered, why should not my daughter suffer? Okay. So how can we say the marketing? But except marketing, everything in business is a waste. You only do marketing. You win. Product, any skillful guy you can buy in OEM. Okay, you don't need to manufacture yourself. If you can know how to market yourself, you win. I learned marketing when I born as a child itself. I started smiling, whoever is helpful to me. That is why I got as a child itself maximum number of biscuit packets. Okay, and whoever want to carry me, I am ready to show my hand. Pick me up. See, I have a granddaughter who, when she was 1 year, 2 years, she used to cry. I used to worry about her. So I was in London. She was only 1.5 years. So she looked at me and said, both the hands. I was so happy. See, she wants to come with me. I took her. I holded her. Then she showed me, walk like this. So I walked. She said, turn left. I turned left. In the right, my daughter-in-law was there. He said, Mummy. And then she left me. I then learned from Tara how to get things done. Okay. So even as a child, if you know how to do marketing, you get the job done.
See, basically another reason why most of us don't create good wealth is we don't know when to exit a business. We think a business is for life, and how to start another business. You spoke about Mr. Thyrocare, how they timed their exit. So how did you time your exit and entry into new business?
Any business that you start is for selling only. Okay. If you don't sell and enjoy the wealth, what is the use? And also, my personal philosophy is, I build companies only for selling. Make no doubt, aiwo is also available for sale. Only the figure is 8 billion. I can sell anything and I can buy anything. Only the price matters to me. Okay? Sometime in a business deal, I am a buyer and seller depending on the price. Say like ITC, if I import or if I buy locally onions and store it, if the market price is high, I sell. If the price is low, I buy. As I defined business to be busy with an activity, buying and selling is part of the business. My name is also Siva. I distract to create, I create to distract. Yeah.
So last question, sir. What is one topmost regret you have in your business career?
Just one regret I told you, not learning Hindi. Another regret is not shifting my house to there. The third regret is I should have hired a good finance director, so I have not sold these shares and keep 60,000 crore worth of shares. I had a bad luck in stock. I used to do billing. I used to do trading for $4 billion a day. But I hired the wrong people and lost 200 million. So these are the things. But I consider that as an experience because my attachment was always with success and the byproduct is profit and money. So my success will get delayed, but it is not denied. And of course, this is told by Donald Trump when he filed the first bankruptcy. And he wrote a book. In that book, he clearly writes. So I have to work harder for my winning now. And if I have not lost my money, I would have never had this seminar because you can't hire me for 8 hours for 5 crore and ask me to speak like that. Okay? So everything is good and everything I enjoy in my life. The way I want to be explained, my goal is, I want to try everything and I will not forgive myself if I don't try everything. Okay. I am responsible for my actions, but not for the results. Okay. And my expectations are very high. So that is how my life I spent. And at the age of 68, I have no intention of changing it.
Thank you, sir. That was truly an inspiring exchange filled with wisdom, humility, and bold vision. A big thank you to Mr. C. Sivasankaran and Mr. Kumar Vembu for this unforgettable session. Your words will resonate long after today. A big applause for both of them. So now it's time for felicitation. I request Mr. Sivasankaran to felicitate Mr. Kumar Vembu, founder Go Frugal.